Hi guys, welcome back. I want you to meet Jessie from Jaywalkers or Jaywhackers. To be honest with you, I don't know exactly how she pronounces her channel, but I heard this video and I just thought that's a great example of the up and downs that we all feel as people trying to lose weight. So I want you to hear this story from Jessie. Here we go.
Hi friends, it's Jessie here. Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. I'm back with another weekly weigh-in every Tuesday. I sit down, I talk you through how the previous week on my weight loss journey went, and I let you know whether I've lost weight, whether I've gained weight, just kind of check in how things are going. And this past week was difficult for me. Not in the sense that I struggled with what I was eating or anything like that. It was difficult for me because it was Mother's Day. And if you are not familiar, I lost my mom back in 2012. And Mother's Day is always super hard for me. My husband and my children always try to make it really special for me, to celebrate me and to distract me from those, sad feelings surrounding Mother's Day. This past weekend was no exception. They took me to our camper and we had a fun family camping trip, all of us together. It's very, very rare these days that both of my children join us for our weekend camping trips. So having them both there was super special. We also took my mother-in-law and celebrated her a little bit. My husband made a really lovely brunch on our Blackstone grill, and it was a really lovely weekend. But still, it was hard. I miss my mom. I miss my mom every day. But Mother's Day, her birthday in August, her death day in October, those are all just really hard days. They hit me a little bit harder. Every year I feel like maybe this will be the year that it won't be so hard, but it never really seems to get any easier. So I knew going into the week that it was going to be a little bit sad, and that I was going to struggle a little bit with my emotions. In the past, something that I have done is used food to cope with feeling over emotional or feeling stressed or feeling sad or feeling happy. Like, food was always my excuse to make myself feel better when I was feeling down or celebrate when things were going really good. And so I knew that I might struggle a little bit. I didn't anticipate my camping trip being too difficult in terms of staying on track, because I've gotten pretty good at knowing the foods I can eat in moderation, the foods I should avoid because I'm incapable of eating them in moderation. I've also learned a little bit better about what sort of serving size I should be eating without having to actually weigh and measure things. And so I was pretty confident that as long as I didn't let my emotions get the better of me and I didn't celebrate Mother's Day by overindulging, that I would be okay. And I was fine. I was sad. It was tough. I missed my mom more than ever, but I managed to stay on track. The thing that I did this weekend that was different in this weight loss journey so far is that I actually did not track over the weekend. I just made the decision that I didn't want to have to deal with entering everything into my Weight Watchers app and everything into my Fitness Pal. Because if you're not familiar, I track in both places. It is a great way to keep me accountable and keep me on track and balanced with eating super healthy foods for the most part, staying away from super heavily processed foods for the most part, everything in moderation, while still eating enough calories but not too many. There's like a fine line there between eating enough but not eating too much.
So let's take a little poll here. If you can maybe tell us your answer in the comment section. But on certain situations like this, where it was Mother's Day, or like she said, she also has some troubles around her mom's birthday and her mom's passing day, right? I think we can kind of give people a little leniency on these moments, right? Where maybe you get away from your tracker, you're starting to keep track of all your points on Weight Watchers or all your calories on another diet, right? I think we can give her a little leeway. I don't think she should beat herself up too much as long as she can kind of get back on track as quickly as possible.
And by tracking my calorie count and tracking my Weight Watchers points every day, that really helps me to walk that line. But like I said, I wanted to go on this camping trip with my family, enjoy it, and not have to worry about tracking absolutely everything. And so I made the decision that I was going to the best of my ability, just estimate what I was eating, keep in mind the lessons that I've learned over the last however many months I've been doing this time around. I started my weight loss journey this go around back in September of 2023. And over that time, I've learned, like I said, what a serving size looks like without having to weigh it. And I know that if I want to enjoy a hamburger, I need to take the bun off and that sort of thing. So I decided just to follow all of my rules, but not worry so much about checking everything into multiple apps and worrying about whether I'm 10 calories over or 5 calories under, and not stress about how much protein I was getting. I just decided to be intuitive about what I was eating, make the healthy choice when I could, not worry so much about tracking things. And I told myself that if my weight was up a little bit because of that, then that was okay. I would be okay with that. I just made the mental decision that that was going to be okay if that happened. I'm very pleased to announce that I did great over the weekend. I made great choices. I enjoyed all of the food that my family was enjoying, but I just made some small changes. Like I said, we had cheeseburgers. I had mine without the bun. We had hot dogs. I had mine without the bun. I doubled up on veggies instead of eating potato chips. And I didn't worry about counting every little thing, adding things up. I just sort of took a look at my plate and said, yeah, that looks about right. Enjoyed it and moved on. I didn't.
That is awesome. That sounds so reasonable. So check this out, because sometimes I talk about it with the venters on the walk. She lost 25 pounds. Now she looks at food from somebody that's 25 pounds lighter. And when you're 25 pounds lighter, you're kind of a smaller version of yourself. It's easier for you to say, you know what? I'm going to have that burger without the bun. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to have this without the ketchup and the mustard. I'm just going to have it plain or whatever the case might be. And I'm just going to have this bottled water here instead of a soda. And there you go. You're making smart decisions.
Do a ton of snacking in the evenings. We had a movie night one night while we were there at our camper. If you're not familiar, I have a really nice travel trailer, and we've got a big projector screen in there that we can watch movies on and that sort of thing. So while my family had a bunch of popcorn and treats, I had just a little bit of Skinny Pop popcorn, and again, didn't weigh or measure anything, but just sort of eyeballed it and said, yeah, that looks like about a serving, and I went with it. And I lost a pound this week. So I feel very confident in my ability to estimate serving sizes, know what I should be eating, stop when I'm full and not overeat. Now, I can't always do that. I still struggle with binge eating. There are certain trigger foods that I know that if I start eating, I'm going to have a really hard time stopping. And so I just avoid those foods altogether. And it feels really good to know that, I'm a little bit more knowledgeable about nutrition now. I know what keeps me full longer. I know what foods to avoid. I know that I can indulge, but I need to do it in moderation. And the scale backed me up this week without tracking absolutely everything. Now, during the week, I tracked everything, stuck within my points and within my calorie count. And then over the weekend, I just kind of flew by the seat of my pants and went with it, and I dropped a pound. So my official weigh-in this week was 254.2 pounds, which is exactly a pound down from this time last week, which feels really good. Overall, since September 18th, 2023, when I started this journey, I have lost a total of 33 pounds, which feels phenomenal. And since January 1st, 2024, because I said in 2024 I wanted to lose a total of 40 pounds before I hit my 40th birthday in November. So we're tracking that as well. Since January 1st, 2024, I've lost 19.4 pounds. So I'm almost halfway to my goal of 40 pounds in 2024. So I'm feeling really, really good. All right, friends, that's it. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you next time.
That is Jessie from Jaywalkers or Jaywhackers again. I'm not exactly sure how she pronounces her channel. But either way, I'm really pumped about this video, and I wanted you guys to see it, that there are ups and downs, but look, she hasn't given up, and you can see that she's really proud of herself. And Jessie, I think your mom would be super duper proud of you as well, and she is super duper proud of you. Guys, I want to let my venters know I'm super proud of them too. We've only got a handful of more days left in this first 90-day challenge for me. For people that are new, we're going to be starting a new challenge here in the upcoming days, and I urge you to start walking with us now to get used to walking. With that being said, go grab your shoes. Let's go for a walk. Good morning, Venters. Can you believe it? It's already Wednesday. Happy hump day. It's only Tuesday for me, so it's not quite Wednesday yet, but this week I work and then next week I have a vacation. So we're pumping into the last 10 days. Today is walk day number 80. 10 days left. Oh my God. I'm so excited. Yay. Yay! Hopefully I don't get you dizzy. Oh, I got myself dizzy. I heard kind of a good story. I say kind of a good. It's actually a totally good story. And it's dealing with the Washington STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math school, the Washington STEM Elementary School in Lynn, Massachusetts. They are one of 235 schools in the northeast part of the country that have in-school pantries designed to eliminate student hunger, which is a wonderful thing. Not the hunger part, but the elimination of it. And Boston Red Sox first baseman Tristan Casas and the mascot, I forget the name of the mascot, it was Larry the Monster or something like that, you guys know in the Boston area, and the mascot for the baseball team, they went down and took pictures with the school and gave this school and all of its students and staff tickets to the baseball game, which is over 500 tickets overall, and the school was they were totally overjoyed. The kids were very, very happy taking pictures with both the baseball player and the mascot. But let me tell you a little bit about this program. So there's 235 schools that have this in-school pantry. The pantry itself is called Stop and Shop, and it's an in-school food pantry. So I assume the students and their parents can stop by into this food pantry. And so far, this specific school has donated over $112,000 worth of food to the needy families of the students. So I thought that was really, really neat. A representative of Stop and Shop, Jennifer Barr, was the one that had kind of talked to us a little bit about the story and kind of had said that now this program is involved in 235 schools, and the Boston Red Sox team itself donates 10,000 meals every time one of their pitchers gets a strikeout. And I just thought that's really, really awesome. So when you can show the kids a little love, let them go to a baseball game, show them a little bit of food in their tummy, a lot of times kids are able to do great things. You know, one of those kids is going to grow up and they're going to remember this moment. They're going to end up becoming a huge baseball fan and doing this and paying it forward to some kids in the future, hopefully, right? So anyway, I don't know about you, but when I was younger, we used to have reduced lunch and we used to have free lunch available. And they would give us kids these little yellow lunch tickets and we would get them punched at school. And I remember for a couple of years I was on free lunch and free breakfast, and a couple of years I was on reduced lunch and reduced breakfast. So I'm one of those kids that has grown up, and what's interesting is the school district I went to was called the Washington School District, but of course it was here in Arizona, not in the northeast part of the country. But there's a lot of kids every single day that go to school early so that they can eat the free breakfast provided by the schools. And there's a lot of kids that at lunch every single day are getting free or reduced lunches, you know. Those are programs that might upset some people, but they don't upset me because I know what it's like to be a child living with a single parent where money wasn't necessarily very affluent in the house. And whenever you have a situation where a family might be living off of, a couple of $100 worth of food stamp money each month, those extra nutritious meals that schools can provide are so important to these kids, you know. I remember when I was growing up in the 80s and 90s, I remember that we had not cards where people would get their food stamp monies put onto. You know how now it's like a little Visa card where different states provide food stamp assistance to people. Back then, it was actually a booklet it looked like orange or pink colored dollars. They were actually called food stamps, if you guys remember. And they were actually like a second type of money, specifically for food. And what would happen is there was a lot of scandal back then because people would get their food stamps and then outside of the post office, they would sell those food stamps to people, for 50 cents on the dollar. You get $200 worth of food stamps from the government and you would sell, your food stamps for $100, and the people that would be cheated out of the food would be the children. So to combat that, somewhere in the early 2000s, I believe, or maybe even late 90s, they started taking away the paper food stamps and they changed it over to kind of like a credit or debit card food stamp program. And there's a lot of people that say, well, you know what? If people are going to take those food stamps and just sell them so they have money for booze, alcohol, or whatever, then maybe we need to get rid of those programs, yada, yada, yada. And in one ear or one side of your body, you might agree with that. But on the other side, you got to keep in mind, kids can't help if their parents are a little shady or if their parents are ne'er-do-well type people, right? That always choose the wrong decision in life. Kids still need to be able to eat. So even though we know that not every dollar of the food stamp program goes to food, sometimes it goes to, people that are buying food stamps from people, we don't really have a choice. You still got to give poor people, especially when children are involved, you still got to give them some sort of way to eat. So whenever it comes to social programs that involve children, like food stamps and healthcare and stuff like that, I like to make sure that the kids are taken care of. And the reason I feel that way is probably because, like I said, when I was a little kid, going to this school right over here, I actually partook in the free and reduced breakfast and lunch program. So, you know, that's one of my early memories. I don't really like the way they do it, because back then they would give you a card and you would get holes punched in the card. So it was like you could kind of tell which kids were on, you know, free or reduced lunch. But then again, maybe not, because I think anybody could buy a card. Just some people paid full price for it so their kids could have a card that you would get punched at lunchtime when you took your meal. But again, even if you're against any type of social program, which is understandable, right? There's a lot of situations where our government doesn't necessarily do social programs the best way, and they end up kind of being cash cows that don't really do much for people. But the food stamp and the school lunch programs do. You can see that any day in this country by kids being able to eat a meal. And we want to make sure those kids are well fed. So good job, Boston Red Sox. God, I don't know what it is about this little section of the park, but every day for the past week, just a million ants out here. Luckily, these ants don't seem to like to climb on me, which is good. Jesse? Yeah, Bob? Jesse, what do we do this last 10 days of this program? Well, for one thing, we don't want you guys to quit ever. So I want you to look at it as a 10 days remaining in the challenge. Sure, that's fine. But guys, whatever you do, don't look at it like this is a 90-day challenge and then we're stopping. You know, one of the things that makes me suspect about YouTubers that take on these 30-day walking channels, and we'll probably watch a couple more videos as time goes on about people that took these 30-day walking channels. Did you guys notice that almost all of them quit after the 30 days? They tell you about 15 or 20 positive effects it had on them, right? How it gave them time to think, how they all lost 5, 10, 15 pounds in 30 days, doing nothing but walking, right? They might say at first it was a little challenging to get those steps in, but by the end of the 30 days, it was really kind of something that they just were able to pull off, and it got easier and easier. And it's like, okay, if that's the case, why the hell are you stopping? You know? Oh, well, Jesse, those are YouTubers. They spend hours each day doing editing and stuff. Hey, you took on a 30-day challenge. You find a way to do your YouTube channel while doing this 30-day challenge. This 30-day challenge did nothing but positives to you. Why the heck are you stopping? Another thing that makes me suspect about these YouTubers that supposedly take on this 30-day challenge is they all lose a little too much weight. Have you noticed? When you and I walk, and we walk every single day, at the end of the month, you might lose 3 or 4 pounds, right? And I stress the word might. But if you look at these YouTubers, they all lose on average 11 or 12 pounds their first month. Every time they do any challenge, whether it's drinking water, using their left hand, blinking with one eye at a time, they all seem to lose 10 or 15 pounds in a month. I'm going to call bullshit on that. That's one of those where you can use your own experience. Can you lose weight in a month walking? Sure. How much are you going to lose? Probably 2 to 4 pounds, and that might even be water weight. You might not lose a darn thing. But if you watch every single YouTuber's 30-day challenge, does anybody find it suspect that they all lose 10 or 15 pounds? And would you ever quit anything that was that easy and made you lose 10 or 15 pounds in a month? Who in their right mind would quit that? They all give you this laundry list of positives that walking or drinking water or avoiding sugars do, right? But their video is always like, hey, I stopped for 30 days so you wouldn't have to. Let me tell you all the positive things that happened. It blew me away. Well, you know what blows me away? How come you're stopping? Who in their right mind would do something for a month, see nothing but positive benefits, and then stop it? And I'm sorry, but if you find a way to lose 10 or 15 pounds in a month from walking, you should be writing a book about it. Nobody else does that. Now, there's some people in the background here, right, that are watching that raise their hand and they say, I did that. You are so rare. That's like unbelievable. But you're telling me every Tom, Dick, and Harry that has a YouTube channel magically gets these magical results? And then after they get these incredible results, they stop? That makes no sense to me. So if you want to see somebody that walks every single day, that doesn't have any magical results to share with people, it's me. I'm the one that'll tell you, you walk for 2 months, let alone 1, and you'll be lucky if you shed any weight. Most people don't lose a damn thing till day 45 to day 60. And what I mean by a damn thing is anything significant. You know, if you're going to lose 10 or 15 pounds, look for it to happen more along day 60 than, day 25. So if you agree with me that some of these YouTubers must be BSing us, let me know down in the comments, because I know a lot of you have been walking more and more each day, and it's just hard for me to believe that for every YouTuber that does these wonderful results in 30-day challenges, the average person doesn't see that. So if you find that a little suspect too, let me know. If you're a YouTuber that's done a 30-day challenge and you've legitimately done it, good for you. But if you're telling me out of every single YouTuber that does these challenges that they're all getting these amazing 10, 15 pound losses in 30 days, I'm telling you, they're full of it. I think it's so easy for people to lie. I saw one person, and I might show her videos, and I won't mention this if I do show her videos, but I'll mention it to you venters now. She was talking about the pros and cons. She showed her Fitbit to prove that she had done all these steps, right? But then she didn't take 1 ounce of video footage from her taking this 30-day challenge. And it just looks weird to me, because you could technically give your Fitbit over to your buddy who actually walks every day, and then you could tell people you lost 15 pounds, and I guess it works out to the same thing. I just have a feeling a lot of YouTubers lie. So a lot of times when you watch these challenges and they tell you about these great results, if that bullshit helps you do the challenge and you end up having decent results, wonderful. But I think they're lying. Just like I think there's a lying thought that a lot of people are walking. Yesterday when I went to my gym, there was literally, it was the most packed day ever at my gym. And I think it's because it's kind of been the hottest week of the year so far. So I think some people that might have been walking outside were in the gym on the treadmill, because for the first time in the past couple of months, for the first time I actually saw a good 10 or 15 people on the treadmill for the 45 minutes or hour I was there. You know, a couple people finishing, a couple people there while I was there, and then I was leaving, a couple more people getting on. So I know for a fact that more people are walking inside in gyms. But keep in mind, the gym in your neighborhood is not just for the people in your neighborhood, it's for all the neighborhoods surrounding the gym. So those 10 or 15 people over the course of an hour or two, they represent all the neighborhoods combined, you know? And when you're outside, all these people that are supposed walkers, you never can see them, you never can find them. So that's my conspiracy thought for the day. Are YouTubers just a bunch of liars? I think the answer is a resounding yes. Why do you feel that way, Jesse? Because experience tells me that people don't lose 10 or 15 pounds in a month on walking. Now, if it's magically their second, third, or fourth month, and they want to make it look like it was a 30-day challenge, then that could possibly happen, right? Because if you're starting on your third month and you lead people to believe it's the start of your 30-day challenge, you could potentially lose 10 or 15 pounds that third or fourth month. But I don't think you're going to lose it your first month. The human body's just too finicky and too resistant and too stubborn to want to just shed weight like that. All right, I'm starting to grow an affinity for these 4 little barking lap dogs. Very cute little dogs. Oh look, it was like that. I went out of their view and they instantly stopped barking. Are we living in a simulation? Who knows? So let's start a conversation about this real quick. Have any of you guys felt this same vibe, that it's a little too convenient how well YouTubers and their channels go through these challenges and routines, and then they magically get these wonderful results, and then they mysteriously quit? I'm calling bullshit on them. And I think what we should do is every time we see one of their videos, we should write, "This is BS, I think you're fibbing." Well, maybe don't go that far. But if you agree with me, let me know down in the comments. If you drink water for a month and quit sugar, you might experience a weight loss, but you're not gonna lose 10 or 15 pounds. You're gonna lose 2 or 3, and that might be water weight gain. It's just, the body doesn't really work that way, at least not for most people, okay? And if you're young, there's so many ways to cheat. For example, you know those crash 3-day diets that we've been watching, you know, where people eat nothing but eggs or sardines or lemons or watermelon? If those things truly do what they say, which is help the average person lose 7 or 8 pounds, then the only way these challenges that people are doing with water and walking, the only way those things are working is if somebody, being the YouTuber, is doing something above and beyond what they say. So maybe they are doing some sort of 3-day fast at the end of it so that their weight loss looks even more extreme. Because what happens if you do a 30-day challenge and you gain a pound? It makes your video look like complete crap. Who wants to do a video that says, "Hey, I did the 30-day walking challenge, absolutely no results," right? I don't know, suspect. But anyway, let's go to a different subject. 10 days left. We have to keep pushing this. This is the time where you actually do see the results from taking on a walking challenge or a water challenge or a no sugar challenge. This is the time where we're going to see some magnificent stuff happen. Let me tell you my experience, because I'm hoping that it spills over into your experience. My experience is that every pound that you start to lose, or maybe I should say every 5 or 10 pounds that you start to lose, it makes the journey that much more easy. What do you mean, Jesse? I mean literally, if you've lost 10 pounds, your body's more efficient than it was just 10 pounds ago. Every day that you wake up, your hunger is gonna now be that of somebody that's 10 pounds less. If we don't stop like most challenges do, but we continue and go right into challenge number 2, in other words, another 90 days, what we're gonna find is that pretty soon, instead of 10 pounds down, we're gonna be 15 or 20. And yes, as we get 15 or 20 pounds less, our body's gonna become even more efficient. In sports, we call this momentum. Guys, you are in the momentum phase of your challenge right now. So where the YouTubers that have all these great results supposedly quit, I'm sure you and I can both agree that to quit at this time would be totally foolish. You are gonna start to lose a pound or so basically every week consistently now. So what that means is over the course of the next couple months, don't be surprised if you consistently start to lose 5 to 8 pounds per month. So if we do this for another 3 months and you've already lost 10 pounds, you're probably well on your way to having 40 pounds worth of weight loss over this next 3 months, or as I like to call it, a season. So are we finishing up a challenge, or are we preparing mentally for the upcoming challenge? If you're a new person to the channel, I urge you, start walking now. Get 10 days in with us of walking. If you're still eating sugar, you don't even have to mess with that for 10 days. Eat what you normally eat, drink what you normally drink, just start walking. And while we're walking, most of us at least, half hour to 1 hour, what I challenge you to do is just walk for 10 or 20 minutes just to get used to walking daily. And that way, 10 days from now, maybe you'll naturally up that 10 or 15 minute walk to a 20 or 30 minute walk. And then when I get you in 10 days, you'll already be walking so that the walking portion will be out of the way. You'll already have 10 days under your belt. So what we'll do at that point is we'll take your food audit. What's the food audit again, Jesse? That's where you're going to either write down on paper the foods that you eat on average during the day and the snacks. Write down a little bit about what you're doing with those snacks. For example, are you drinking a consistent 3 or 4 sodas a day? If you are, write that down. Because what we're going to do during the 90-day challenge is we're going to try to up your walking game and lower your soda drinking game. And if you're drinking 3 or 4 sodas consistently, we can do that math pretty easily. Each soda is about 150 calories. So if you're drinking 4 of those bad boys a day, there are 600 calories a day right there that we can fight against, and we can slowly but surely chop down. And what we're going to do is we're going to try to cut those 4 sodas a day in half down to 2 sodas. And then ultimately we'll get to the point where you can cut 2 sodas down to 1. And hopefully by the end of the 90-day challenge, you can cut your soda intake down to 0. Once you lose 10, 20, 30 pounds and counting, then your body's going to become more efficient. You'll start clocking off pounds real easily. So right now I'm about 169 to 170 pounds. In another week, I'll probably be 167, 168. And then in another week, when we actually finish this challenge, right, in 10 days, I'm hoping that I'm down to about 165. And then from days 90 to day 100, which will be the first 10 days of the upcoming next challenge for people, I'm hoping that I lose the additional 10 pounds. So I feel like I'm still very much on schedule. What should you guys be feeling if you've been matching me and walking with me over the last 80 days and drinking more water and eliminating sugar? You should probably feel a lot of the same results I do. I feel really skinny. I feel twice as athletic today that I did 2 months ago. And I'm being serious. When I was first walking with you guys, I didn't feel healthy or athletic at all. I was just getting used to carrying this 30-pound camera. Not easy to do, right? All right, we had to do a little battery change there. All right, so the moral of the story is, when you watch YouTubers do challenges, if it motivates you, wonderful. But if you're thinking that you're going to get the same results, listen to our channel. You're going to start to see a little bit more realistic results. Most people in the first month are lucky if they still maintain their same weight and if they lose a couple pounds. Some people find it really weird that some way, somehow, despite restricting sugar and drinking water and walking, they actually gain a pound, right? So when you see videos that tell you you're going to lose 10 or 15 pounds by doing 30 days of drinking water or 30 days of walking, just know that that's probably not going to happen. Now, the reason I tell you this is not to dampen your spirits. It's because I want you to walk, but I don't want you to be discouraged if after a month you don't lose anything, because guess what? Most people don't. And so when YouTubers tell you that you're going to lose 10 or 15 pounds and then you don't, I think it's real easy to say, holy shit, what's wrong with me? Something's wrong with my body. I'm one of these people that can't lose weight no matter what I do. And it's not true. You can. What also is interesting is people lose weight no matter how heavy they are when they start trying. They constantly tell you that they can't lose weight, that they're incapable, and they have doctors and experts that back them up. But every time they actually do try, they actually do lose weight. The Biggest Loser shows this. Well, Jesse, The Biggest Loser is a horrible way of proving your point, because most of those people end up going off their diet. That's because their diets, based on the Biggest Losers program, were so extreme and their workouts were so intense that, of course, even on the show, the only way they could do their exercises was if Jillian or Bob was actually yelling at them. That's not any way to get motivated about anything. Of course those things are easy to quit. Who can keep up with that? But what if The Biggest Loser wasn't a 90 or 120 day show series, right? What if The Biggest Loser was some everyday sneak a peek video and it lasted a year or more? Where instead of rushing these people through this boot camp, what if instead of that it was a walking situation where they slowly but surely cut stuff out of their diet, baby stepping, and they slowly ease their way into things, and then they had a support team that they could hold each other accountable. That's how you succeed. When you just jump into something and do a boot camp style thing, yeah, you might get results, but what happens when boot camp ends? Boot camp ends and you go right back to your normal life. This is different. This is about changing your normal life. So I just want you guys to know, do real results happen? Yeah, they do. They happen at month 3 and beyond. Everybody that's actually done some significant weight loss on their own, it takes them 5 to 12 months. It'll take you less if you're willing to do the water and the sugar, but it still takes time. So if you're struggling through this, like I've been struggling, this is the hardest of the challenges I've done because in the past I was a little bit younger and not quite as heavy. So if you're having a challenge, it just makes you human. Stick in this challenge with me. Let's not give up. There's a new challenge starting in 10 days, or as I like to call it, life continues in 10 days. Have a great day. I'll see you later.